Are you stuck in the mid-game but still want to have some fun and kill bosses for profit? Well, I have some methods just for you. I tested 5 of the best mid-game money-making bosses to decide which one is the king of making you gold. On top of that, I run down some of the mechanics, decide which ones are the most chill, and of course look at their rarest drops, the tiny versions of them. So let's hop in. The requirements to kill Giant Mole with some efficiency are to have at least level 60 in the combat style of choice. Also having level 43 prayer will help avoid all damage. The best methods in the game involve range, while the cheaper budget methods involve melee. Also, the completion of making friends with My Arm quest is helpful in providing a fire of eternal light, meaning you will always have a light, saving you an inventory slot. Completing at least the Falador Hard Diary will help track the mole as it digs and will also make the mole skin and claws drop noted, saving you bank trips. Now let's look at the setup. For range, your setup will look something like this, with the cheapest weapon being an Armadillo crossbow. For melee, on a budget, bring full Darox and some way to get your HP down to 1, such as a rock cake. Your inventory will consist of a spade, a divine potion of choosing combat style, stamina potions, prayer potions, and a teleport to a bank. You can also bring a cannon to slightly speed up kills, runes for high alchemy or thralls, and a light source if needed. The thralls are also helpful for more than just damage, which I will explain during the mechanics. The giant mole is located in Falador in a place known as the Mole Hole, which is under the park. The closest teleport is on the Ring of Wealth, then find one of the hills and dig. The mole only has 2 mechanics. The first is a basic attack, which can hit up to 21, but it can be completely avoided by praying Protect from melee or safe spotting it around a corner with ranged. The second mechanic happens once the mole drops below 50% HP. After that, there is a 25% chance that any attack towards it will cause it to burrow down to another location. Without the diaries, it is going to be a guessing game at where it went, though having thralls will give you a hint in the direction it went. With the best gear in the game, you can expect to kill the mole 85 times per hour, which results in 1,200,000 GP. Alongside the gold earned, you can expect to hit the pet drop rate in about 36 hours. Why was the mole's rental fee so costly? Because he burrowed and never returned. There are no requirements to kill Sarachnis, but it is recommended to have at least level 70 in all combat styles. Even though you will be using melee, having high magic and range will help with the defense aspect of the fight. Also, having 43 prayer is needed for protection prayers, while 70 for piety will speed up kills tremendously. Now let's look at the setup. For lower levels, your gear will look similar to this, while higher levels will look like this. The spider is weak to crush, so prioritizing gear with that is key. Also, remember to always have your attack option set to crush. In your inventory, bring a spec weapon such as Burning Claws, 1 combat potion, prayer potions, food, and a teleport out with some thralls. Sarachnis is located in the Forthos dungeon. There are a few ways to get there. The first is by using the Xerix Talisman and going to the Glade, which lands you just east of the dungeon entrance. The next travel method requires some farming, so if you have planted the Spirit Tree just south of the dungeon, that is another great way to get there. Sarachnis only has 4 mechanics to watch out for. First is her ranged attack, which she will use if you are not standing next to her. While you are close, she will use a melee attack, smashing you with her legs. To avoid the damage, you need to pray accordingly. If you miss a prayer, she will use a healing strike, which heals her for 5 with a melee hit and 10 with a ranged hit. Her next mechanic goes off after she does 4 standard attacks. She will then use a sticky web that will leave you stuck for 3.6 seconds, but if you are wearing the Arania boots, you will be immune to the web's power. Her final mechanic is spawning minions at 66% and 33% health. She will spawn 2 per player, one being a magic spider that can hit up to an 11, and the other being a melee that can hit up to a 13. They both also only have 30 health. With the best gear in the game, you can expect to kill Sarachnis 60 times per hour, resulting in 1,080,000 GP. Alongside the gold earned, you can expect to hit the pet drop rate in roughly 50 hours. Why is Spider-Man so good at comebacks? Because with great power comes great response ability. The requirements to kill the Royal Titans are to have at least level 70 in all combat styles, but 75 magic is needed to one-shot the elementals. Level 43 prayer is also needed to use Protect from melee. Also, having a buddy will help massively, but not required. Now let's look at the setup. Bring your best melee gear and a range swap in your inventory. You can kill the bosses with only melee, but the fights will take much longer, because when they walk away, you will be unable to hit them. Bringing a staff and runes to cast water and fire waves is used to destroy the walls and elementals. You can get away with using no magic, you just have to be more careful with getting blocked off from the walls and the elementals blowing up on you. I always bring a few supplies just in case a fight goes south, but the best method is to teleport to the house after every kill to reset stats. The Royal Titans are located in the Asgarnia Ice Dungeon. The fastest way to get to them is by using the Giant Soul Necklace teleport, putting you right at the boss. The necklace is only dropped from the boss, so if you don't have it yet, use fairy ring code AIQ and head north to get to the dungeon. When fighting the bosses, you use range when they are too far away, but it's always best to use melee when they get close. Their first attack is a stomp, which can be completely avoided by praying melee. The next is Fire and Ice Wall, which blocks off part of the arena. You can stand on it and take up to 12 damage and leave a path open to avoid becoming stuck. The next mechanic is Elementals, which are summoned in pairs of 3 and attack with melee. If not killed in a certain amount of time, they will blow up in a 3x3 square, dealing 8 to 10 damage each. The last mechanic happens in the second phase, which is Elemental Blast. They both use an Elemental Stomp on the floor 3 times, and there is only one safe tile that you must stand on. It is always advised to kill them close to the same time, or the last one that is left alive will become enraged, making the stomp deal damage through prayer. Also, the safe tile ends up being across the entire room. With the best gear in the game and a solid duo, you can expect to kill the Titans 48 times per hour, resulting in 1,400,000 GP after taking out the cost of supplies. Alongside the gold earned, you can expect to hit the pet drop rate in about 63 hours, though that can be cut in half if you sacrifice all of your loot. How do you talk to giants? You use big words. The requirements to kill Amoxliatl are to have at least level 60 in melee combat stats and 37 prayer to use Protect from Magic. Though having 70 prayer is recommended to use Piety, which will increase the kill speed significantly. Also, completion of the Heart of Darkness quest is needed to fight the boss. Now let's look at the setup. For players with a massive bank, this is what your setup should look like. For players with less of a bank and are just now getting into bossing, this is the bare minimum setup for a really cheap cost. Remember, always upgrade in slots wherever possible, and just make sure to have your attack option on Crush. And if you want a real challenge, or your bank just got wiped, you can kill this boss with absolutely nothing on. In your inventory, bring Burning Claws for a spec, 1 combat potion, some prayer potions, food, a teleport out and back, and thralls. Amoxliatl is located in the ruins of Tapo. The best way to get there is by using the Pendant of Ates to teleport to the Twilight Temple, which is just outside the ruins. The pendant is obtained from the boss or the little ones just outside, so getting that will speed up trips. If it's your first time, use the Quetzal transport system option, salvage your overlook, and head south. This boss has 3 different mechanics. The first is a basic attack that can be completely avoided with Protect from Magic. On top of the attack, she sends out ice spikes from the ground all around the player and 1 permanent one where the player was standing. All damage can be avoided by just moving out of the way. Her next mechanic, Unstable Ice, sends out 1 to 4 blocks that must be destroyed fairly quickly. If not destroyed, they will explode, leaving more ice on the ground and heal the boss depending on how many were left. Her last mechanic is Icicle Crash, which will disable your prayer. Simply turn it back on to avoid a massive hit. If you want a more in-depth guide of this boss, I made a video just right here. With the best gear in the game, you can expect to kill Amoxliatl 50 times per hour, which results in 730,000 GP. Alongside the gold earned, you can expect to hit the pet drop rate in about 60 hours. What does a spy do in cold weather? Go undercover. The requirements to kill Dagannoth Rex is to have completed the Fremennik Trials quest to access the island it is located on. Having 78 magic is recommended to use the Trident of the Swamp, while 40 defense is recommended for decent tank gear. 43 prayer is needed to use protection prayers, and having a whopping 85 agility is nice to do the shortcut, saving you a lot of running. Now let's look at the setup. For lower levels, your gear will look something like this, while the higher levels will look like this. At higher levels, I would recommend killing all 3 bosses for more profit, but it will be less AFK. In your inventory, bring full Guthans, some prayer potions, some antidote plus pluses, 1 stamina potion, some food, a teleport out, a rune throwing axe, a pet rock, and runes to cast blood spells. The Guthan set can be used to damage the Spinelopes on the side for extra healing, but it isn't needed, especially if you have the blood spells. The pet rock, throwing axe, and stamina pot are only needed to get to the boss. Dagannoth Rex is located in the Waterbirth Island dungeon. To get to him, use a Waterbirth Island teleport, and if you don't have the agility level, follow this path, using the giant rock and throwing axe near the beginning. Each room has creatures that will damage you, so praying against them can save you some supplies. If you have the agility level, you will take this path instead, which avoids needing the rock and axe. Dagannoth Rex only has 1 mechanic, which is to smack you with melee. The problem is the other 2 bosses are also located in the same room, so I would advise climbing up and down the ladder until you can get in without being seen. Making sure to always pray against magic when going in, because Prime uses that and has the highest hit. Supreme will only use ranged. Once you successfully sneak in, follow the path to the safe spot and lure Rex over. With the safe spot, this method becomes extremely chill, mainly because you will be waiting for the respawn. You will take damage from the Spinelops around the room once in a while, but they will also be used to help you heal back up. With the best gear in the game, you can expect to kill Dagannoth Rex 28 times per hour, resulting in 961,000 GP per hour. Alongside the gold earned, you can expect to hit the pet drop rate in 179 hours. If you're going for all the pets, I would fight them all at once to increase the chances. Why couldn't the T-Rex fly? Because die, no soar. This is how I would rank the bosses, taking in consideration gold earned, mechanic difficulty, and pet chance. As always, take it easy.